done a bit more prep. Moved the second trellis that was over on that bed, doing the covered wagon thing over here, so that it's nice and open and I can get to both sides of it now, and also covers the little pathway there. And I took down the trellis that was there. Haven't decided where I'm going to put it yet. Might not even use it for the fall season. We'll see. I have moved this over just a little bit so I can access this bed a bit better. I might move that bed. We'll see, because there's this awkward little patch here next to the greenhouse that it's awkward to get to and use, especially when the frost comes and I actually close up the greenhouse. We'll see. I've planted peas around the each of the legs. The peas that were here completely dried up and got too hot. We had that heat advisory. So the daikon radish is coming in. I took out the old dead lettuce after harvesting its seeds, so there's a bit more space here. This is the raspberry plant I'm not sure is going to survive, and then next to it is the only butternut squash that's doing alright. So we'll see how they do before the frost hits. I think I'm going to put in a few more radishes here. Something nice and low so it doesn't like spill into the pathway. Because the lettuce did do that towards the end of things, and the peas were coming over. So I think I'm going to make a concerted effort to keep this pathway nice and open, because it is how I get to the greenhouse, which is very full. I moved all the peppers in here because we are getting colder in the night, so I figured if all of the stuff was in one greenhouse together, they would keep warmer better. I'm not sure if the science behind that thinking is correct or not, but so far they seem to be doing good. There's the one cucumber plant in here. That's some rhubarb I have to put in the ground soon. I really do need to get it in so it can get established before the frost hits. But I was planning on putting that in the front yard. The front yard's not prepped yet, so we'll see. Still going strong on a lot of the cherry tomatoes. This big plant in the middle of this bed over here are the cloned tomatoes, the first or second round of cloned tomatoes. There's a bunch of basil on this side and on that side over there, and there might be, yeah, that's dill, like the one or two plants of dill that actually came up. And then along the back side is a bunch of cucumbers, but those are all tapping out as the heat got to them a little bit too much. But if you look inside, there's lots of tomatoes coming in. So yeah, I'll start, they're starting to ripen, so I'll start to harvest some of those soon from my second round of tomatoes. This is some of the garlic I just recently planted, like after start of September recently planted, and it's already coming up strong, so that's nice. I have garlic planted throughout the garden. I put some in here with the flowers. I put some in here. There's garlic on this side, carrots on that side, and the snapdragons, which will wilt once the frost comes. I've been harvesting seeds from them, so hopefully I'll get to plant a whole lot of snapdragons next season. I tried to do some kale under here, but I think the mulch was still a little too thick, so I might start some kale later on. I might take the mulch away. We'll see. These cucumbers are all but gone. I think there's one left on one of them, and I'm seeing how big it'll get. Oh, yes. This is my yellow Pilsner Vessies. Got like 3 that are ripening, and then there's a few more that are still green and gonna get bigger. Oh, I'm looking forward to them. They're so sweet and fruity. These marigolds are just ridiculous. They're like 3.5, 4 feet tall. They're onto the trellis. All of the marigolds. I just trimmed the one over there, but it was huge and spilling out and covering almost all of that bed over there. So I really like these. I've saved so many seeds from these already, so I'm going to be having plenty of them next year. And I said more of the garlic around and under here too. I did a lot of carrots, but again, I think the mulch was a bit too thick, so I might have to replant all of those soon. This blackberry bush is nice and filling out a little bit. They'll really start growing after all the rain comes in the winter. The wisteria's not looking too great. Might need to up-pot that or put a lot of fertilizer in there. We'll see. It's been a little neglected over in the corner. Back in the other direction of the greenhouse, here's one of the pepper plants in the back. You can see more of the cucumber plants spilling along the side there. This is one of the basils that's starting to flower, so maybe I'll even get to save some seeds from those basils. There's a little tiny cucumber trying to make its way in the world. We'll see if it actually amounts to anything. Once the frost comes, I will actually finish the roof of the greenhouse, but for now I think it looks kind of cool with the tomatoes growing up through it. I like that aesthetic, kind of nature reclaiming, nature reclaiming structures, even though I built the structure around the nature, but I like the look of it. It looks cool. I like it. Sunflowers don't look quite ready to harvest the seeds off of them yet, so they're just going to look all dejected and heads bowed and not so great until the teeth are ready. The strawberry plant in with the chives, all of these are doing so well. They're sending out runners. I keep tucking them back into the pot. Potatoes are starting to die back, so I'll harvest that and then have a whole new pot to plant. So I'm wondering if because all the peppers have been moved out of the pepper house, I'm thinking about maybe moving that to cover these and maybe kind of insulate the strawberries over the winter. I don't know if that'll help or not. I'm going to do a little research. And then there's also some strawberries over here with some chives. This is the buckwheat. It got really big and really pink. I'm going to harvest that soon. I'm not going to use the grains or anything, but it's super pretty. So I'm thinking of using it like straw to make some like decorative brooms. Because it would look really cool. It'd be a pink broom. It'd be nice. The honeysuckle is starting to flower again. I have no idea what seasons this thing is going off of. Who knows? The lavender's going good. The bugs are still loving it. I'm going to try to chop it in half and give half of it to my friends so they can have a lavender plant too, and hopefully not kill the entire thing doing it. Hopefully. This lavender plant, this is the English lavender. I just cut every part of it that was drying out back, and so the center nice and green part can really flourish and get all of the energy from the plant. These marigolds never really amounted to anything. I think I'll refresh the soil in the pot and then use that for like tiny radishes or maybe carrots. We'll see. Again, some of the cloned tomatoes. These actually have some on them. Have some of the I think this is a Brad's Atomic and one Chadwick cherry. Some of the one pepper that's still outside of the greenhouse. Here's a tomato. I have no idea what the variety is. It was a gift from my boyfriend's mom, but it makes really not big, but nice sized red tomatoes. So they got a few more ripening on there. Here's some more plants I got from my boyfriend's mom. I think this is nasturtium, and that's a jade plant. I have no idea what that is. I call all white plants icicle plants, but I know that's wrong. So I'm figuring out how much water they like. Figuring it out, not quite there yet. Yeah, the first bed is doing super great. The parsley is bouncing back after having all the dead parts trimmed back. The strawberries are sending out runners, which I keep tucking back into the box. The green onions cannot be stopped. The oregano is still flowering. And the snapdragons are holding on. Oh, and the succulents have been loving the heat. The aloe, and then I'm not quite sure what the other one is. It might be sticks on fire. It looks like it, but it's not the right color. Over here, my one delphinium is too heavy for its own good, but I am planning to harvest some seeds from that. So hopefully it doesn't break off or snap before the seeds mature. The bean patch is doing great, loving the sun. The peas are starting to come up along the side, which is good. I had to bend all of the tomatoes over there that I could. There's one stick over here, but the rest of them either got attached to the trellis or put over there. I'm not expecting a whole lot out of these. There's a few tiny fruit still left on them, but really this whole bed is just waiting for winter to go to sleep. The only thing that's actually going to keep during the winter is going to be the peas that are over along that side and growing up the trellis, and then the garlic over here. Everything else is going to give up the ghost when the frost hits. So it'll be a good opportunity to chop and drop and put some nutrients back into the soil and just let it just let it rest for a season, because it's going to be completely shaded out by the fence, because the sun gets so low in the sky that, like, even when it's at its highest arc, this bed never really gets much sun. So it's gonna sleep during the winter. I've learned a lot. I really have. A lot of things have failed. Some things did really, really well. Some things surprised me with how tenacious they were, and some things just never got going, and I don't think I'll ever figure out why. But I've learned a lot this past year and a half of gardening, and so I have plans of doing lots of root vegetables into the winter, doing some peas, doing some kale, some lettuces, arugula, that sort of thing. But what I'm really gearing up for is the next spring. I have plans on how to better do large tomatoes. I have plans on how to better do the peppers, and that's mostly going to involve the greenhouse. I'm going to be doing I really liked the yellow beefsteak tomatoes, so I'm going to be planting more of those, and I'm going to do peppers in here, whether in pots or in beds, but I'm definitely going to be more aware of how even though the daytime temperatures get pretty high quickly in spring around here, the nighttime temperatures lag behind, and so I think I'll be a lot better prepared for it next year, and so I won't be wondering why everything is getting off to a slow start. I'll know why, and I'll be able to augment it. However, with the greenhouse, with how I plant things, with when I plan to bring it outside, I won't just... This last spring I paid a lot of attention to the daytime temperatures and not a whole lot to the nighttime, and so that's really the biggest lesson I've learned lately in California, because it's pretty regular for us to have a 30-degree difference between our daytime high and our nighttime low, so definitely taking that into account. And I'm gonna try. I have a lot of different varieties to try now. I know what I like out of the things I've grown so far, and I know what I'm looking forward to trying next year. So the summer season is coming to a close, although it's still hanging on because we're still having daytime temps in the 80s, but our nighttime temps are starting to consistently be down in the 50s, so it's really the end of the summer garden. And I learned a lot, and I ate a lot, and I had some interesting visitors, and it's been ups and downs, but I'm still looking forward to the next season. So I think overall it's been a good experience. Thank you for watching along, and future Olivia, look at where you are now. I want to see what it looks compared to what you do in the future.